Good evening. It's the Environmental Advisory Council's meeting for Thursday, March 20th. Call to order. We're going to have Janet Pravanis here, Cindy Mahalo here, Dave Galush. Dave is not here this evening. Joseph Pinto.
Here.
Sheila O'Sullivan-Feeney present. All are here. Okay. And we're going to do a moment of silence and then the Pledge of Allegiance. I believe to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Item number 4, public comment. Seeing none, we'll move to number 5. Considering approving the agenda as presented. All right. Everybody's good with the agenda? So move. All right. A motion was made by Joseph Pinto, seconded by Cindy Mahalo to accept the agenda as written. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion stands. Thank you. Minutes. Consider approving the minutes from our February 20th meeting. Motion was made by Joe Pinto, seconded by Janet Pravanis. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion stands. Perfect. Item number 7, reports. Okay. Before we get into the reports, Janet has some phenomenal news, and Birdtown and all the work you do, Janet, you should be so proud of yourself. Give your reports and we're so thrilled.
Proud of our committee.
Yes.
Proud of our committee, which is growing. Our committee is growing. Again, so we're very pleased and excited to name is Birdtown Gold Certification for 2024. Thank you very much. Thank you. After consulting with our many partners within the township and partners from surrounding townships and nonprofits, we submitted the following data. For municipal actions, we had 479 volunteer hours with 247 participants, and 150 of our acres within the township have been or are under protection, like the meadow and parks. School and youth related activities, we had 42 participants. Community and individual engagements, 285 participants. Organizations, collaborations, and partnerships, we had 606 volunteer hours and 502 participants. Advocacy was also part of what they were looking for. We counted the advocacy that Valley Forge Audubon Society does for our clutch here in this area. And so we had a total of 85 points for 1,357 volunteer hours and 1,132 participants. And I think that this is probably not everything, but it's the data that I did collect that I know we were working on for activities that are helpful for our birds, our wildlife, our people, and our habitat. So I just wanted to point out, because we are not the only bird town around, we are surrounded by other bird towns, and of course we know our birds go far and wide. So there are now 78 bird towns across the state of Pennsylvania.
Wonderful.
There are, that ranges from here, southeast Pennsylvania, up into Allentown, out to Harrisburg, and on to Pittsburgh. So we're growing around all of those areas. There are 227 total bird town leaders. We collected for our spring gathering a total of 51 reports, and there were 27,999 volunteer hours that bird towns put in.
Statewide?
Statewide.
Wow.
Statewide.
Very impressive.
For a total of $868,000 at the rate of $31 an hour of volunteer activity.
Wow.
16,707 volunteer participants and community members that were potentially impacted were 895,978, and 8,242 acres of actively managed habitat for birds. So, all of this is important because our birds move around, and we really have made a difference in so many communities and with so many people. And I think that reading this data helps us to move forward and realize we have done a lot, and we can continue to do a lot.
That's awesome. Janet, will you be presenting your certificate to the
I'm
Board of
not sure if we
Supervisors?
get a written certificate, but I will find that out.
And so you'll present your
You want
report?
me to?
Yeah, I'd love for
Okay,
you.
all right,
I think last year you did it, and it's important that,
okay.
it's not just about the birds. It's
Yes.
part of the biodiversity. It's part of the overall environment. So it's so important. I think you did a great job last year, and I think they need to understand how important this work is. So
Okay.
I'd love for you.
I'll
and
do it
we
in
did-
April.
Yeah, well, you have to check with get on Steve.
All right, I'll tell
Because he has to check with
Steve,
Leonard
okay.
and the Board of Supervisors to get
okay.
on their calendar, but
Good.
that's awesome.
If
All
I could add two things to. If I could add two things to that, I just want to commend Janet for her tenacious and persistent leadership on
you.
this. She's been doing this for years. We tried to figure out how long Newtown Township has been a bird town, part of the bird town organization, and it has been many years. Do you know?
Under two
I-
different.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Yes,
but
it started out as Audubon,
Yep.
Bird Town in, I think, 2011 is when it
Wow.
Okay.
might have started.
So
yeah.
maybe 14 years.
Yes,
We have been advocating for birds as a township. So it's not only a tribute to her. I think it shows that the township has been very on the forefront of this, because when the township joined the movement, there were many, many fewer bird town chapters.
oh, yes.
It
31,
it
just
has
30.
exploded in recent years,
stuff.
and we were at the forefront. The second thing I wanted to share is the quality and the caliber of the educational and informative resources that Birdtown makes available. Every webinar that I watch is very helpful and informative. And it was clarified for Janet and me last month that because Newtown Township is a formal member of Birdtown, the resources that are available to us as Birdtown chapter leaders are also available to Newtown residents. Representatives from HOAs, from organizations such as Garrett Williamson, Dunwoody, those people are all entitled.
We
That's
can
what you-
access what
Yes.
we think is relevant to these organizations for them to view the workshops that we've
Yeah.
been doing.
Yeah,
Um,
so it's great to know that those, and they're excellent.
Great.
So,
That's a great job, Janet. of
I just
course.
want to say congratulations. That's really, really awesome to hear. So if you want to send that report to me, with all the information, maybe
Okay, I
if
will.
you guys wanted to put it out, an
Right.
article or something.
She does an
Oh.
annual report,
Okay.
just like the EAC will do,
Yeah.
and she'll go before the Board of Supervisors like she did last year.
Perfect.
But just the acknowledgement of the thing is an important step, so great job. All
And I
right,
did want to mention, as I said at the start, that our committee now has grown. We have so many activities that we need, I need help, but we all need help. So I'd like to mention that Cindy Mahala is our vice leader, co-leader on Birdtown, and Terry McCarthy has stepped up to be
Awesome,
part, as well as Cheryl Grasso.
awesome.
So we have a nice representation from many different areas that are going to be working with Birdtown.
Great stuff.
Good. I know you do a lot of hard work with that, so very
Good
good
stuff.
job.
All right,
Thank
do
you.
you want to give us upcoming events? Let's give a report on the bluebird nesting boxes.
Bluebird nesting
Can
boxes
you pull that up, please?
that were put together by the scout, John Benko, I think his name. And our last, so they have 15 boxes that are under the care of George Sharretts, and we are looking for homes for these boxes. We have sent out an email. Did you get your mail? Did
Yes.
you see your mail? Okay, good. First of all, we had it online in our newsletter about the boxes being available and we want to thank the township for creating the no
Yeah, that was
reply
great.
because we were able to get all of those contacts. And then Cindy and I worked together to put together what would be a good response to those who are applying. We have had, at this point, 13 boxes that have been requested. So we're now waiting to see whether or not they qualify. We will do a site assessment to see whether or not this is in the right location. We will provide them with a lot more information about how to monitor their boxes. We're going to use some of this information that we learned from our Bluebird webinar that was presented by the Birdtown Education Committee in February. Then we're going to, our site assessments will be taking place on April the 2nd and April the 5th. So we'll
Great.
give another update.
So just let Steve know that Janet has communicated directly with everyone that has responded so far,
Yes.
which is awesome. And I think there was a question
13.
there were some residents who are not Newtown Township residents. So Janet, I deferred to Janet in terms of how she wanted to proceed with that. What is your decision on that?
Well, I think we said that we wanted to because these were made by the scouts
Yes.
here in our area here. I know was Anastasia, but we were trying to see if we could keep our boxes in our community. But if there were boxes that were still available,
Yep.
one woman did not give me her email address, so I called her today. I didn't want her to think I had
Forgotten. Yeah,
forgotten her. Right? She totally understood that.
great.
Right.
But you think that there's only 15 boxes, so you
Yes.
think, and it will push one out again? I think the township pushed out the information again.
There's only one box. I think it's not committed. There were I thought there were 15 left over.
I thought it was 15.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll get clear. All right, great. That's awesome. And just was good that's a lot of work and we appreciate
Yes.
that. Again, shout out to the township for creating that form and thank you, Mark, for your input on that. Next up is Lights Out program, Tim. Janet, you want to give us the rundown on that?
We are,
There we go.
yes, right. So you might recognize this because this was sent out in the spring of last year to help our residents to understand the importance of reducing their lights, especially during spring migration. Birds are migrating at night, resting during the day, and feeding during the day. So, but night is the time that they are flying, and with the lights that are, especially lights that are angled up, this really is confusing to them. And then also lights can reflect off of windows and make it difficult for birds to not be confused by light. So, the towers in New York City, when they have a lot of birds flying through because they can see them on weather maps that they're coming through, they will turn off those lights on those towers in September when there's birds are flying through. So, and many cities have adopted lights out. So we're proud that our township, our supervisors passed this resolution back in the spring of 24. Did you want to add something? No? Okay. Good.
Perfect. And continuing that, and we ask residents, then you're saying to direct your lights downward.
Yes.
To either turn off or have sensor lights. What other
Yes,
recommendations
right.
did you mention?
Reduce the lumens that they give off. If you can put in a red bulb or an orange bulb, that's better than having a bright white one. And in reality, it's also insects that are affected by lights as well.
Right.
So if you don't need your lights on at night, even if it's not during migration period, it's better to turn them off or have them on sensors
Sensor.
if you
Perfect.
feel like you need to know if there's These strange sounds that you hear, you
Awesome.
know, outside.
All right, next up is Bird Walk.
Yes,
Tina,
we
you
are
got that?
ready. We are ready for our bird walk, which is planned for May the 10th, which happens to be World Bird Migration Day around the world. And we have our renowned birder, Mike McGraw, who will
It's
be
phenomenal.
leading our walk, as well as Phil Whitmere, who is from the Delaware Ornithological Society and is the vice president of Birdtown, Pennsylvania as well. We had 2 graphics that were developed for this event. One was through CRC, which is what we've partnered with before, and the other one was through Garrett Williamson, not knowing that we had created one already. We resolved that by making sure that both of those, when it says register, go to register it with CRC, that we're not having 120 people
Right.
sign up for this event. So we're really looking forward to this, and we will be talking about at the beginning about these important issues with lights, with shade grown coffee, and
All of
other
those things.
bird.
And very gracious of Garrett Williamson to allow
Yes,
their property
absolutely.
every year,
Again,
which is
yes,
very,
right.
so we're grateful for them as a neighbor to us to provide such amenities to us, especially their beautiful campus, and we
Yes.
appreciate that. So well done, Janet.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Good stuff. Okay, next up is item 7.2, Township Rain Gardens. Cindy.
Okay, spring maintenance of the rain gardens has begun with our trusty cadre of volunteers. And I am pleased to say that we have 3 new volunteers. One is a young woman who's an au pair who actually came to the tree planting last fall. And the reason I mention that is she found out about the event, I think either because there was a flyer posted in the library or she saw the flyer at the trail.
Awesome.
And that's something a new method of communication we had, and she said she'd be willing to help again. So she's come 3 times now, and the woman that she works for came to help. And we have another woman who lives locally who is going to be helping.
Oh, excellent.
So I'm pleased to say that we have extra volunteers. George has ordered the mulch. It has arrived, and we're going to start mulching next week. We're going to be doing this throughout the week through our regular maintenance. We are not having special Saturday events, and we're in good shape. So I feel confident that this new process is going to work.
You mentioned, do you need plugs for that, or did you?
That's later
Yeah.
on the
Okay.
agenda.
All right, perfect. All right, that's it for rain gardens. Item 7.3, the 2025 Sustainable Newtown Square Green Business Mini Conference, which was held on Friday, March 7th. First of all, it was a great event. It was well received by so many. I really have to look into giving credit to all of not only the township, the board of supervisors who were very supportive of it. Dunwoody was incredible. Their efforts were, the Newtown Square Business Association supported our efforts. In addition, Shoemaker Films, who donated the movie, which was fabulous to highlight everything that Dunwoody's done. Karen Wilwall from DCCD and Jeremy Hancher, which was really important because his program spoke to the businesses, how we can move the ball forward in terms of being more sustainable. So we thought that was, not only did we help residents in our business association, but this message went much broader. It was sent out on different media, newspapers, the Spirit newspaper, Delco Times covered it, many communications. Also, Widener University shared it on their university to all their alumni because Jeremy was in it, and they shared the story. Lisa Borowski shared it not only in her Instagram post, but she shared in her newsletter as well. Dave did a great story on it that went into our newsletter, which is wonderful. So it was very well received. We had a representative of local, county, and state government. We can't thank everyone enough. We think it was really important things, and we just wanted to get your thoughts. Anything that you have, how did you feel that the process was, Janet? Anything you want to say about the conference, or?
I was impressed with the speakers.
Yeah.
Right, and happy to walk around and give my card out to.
Yes, yes.
Some people that I thought that would be good with working together.
Yeah, we were lucky to have Birdtown there, PRC, the Delaware County Department of Transportation, DCCD had a table, Dunwoody had a table. I mean, we just brought in all of our community partners, which was very helpful. Anything that you have on that, Cindy?
I agree that there were all the right people there.
Yeah.
So you did a great job in getting a lot of relevant people together in the room. So there were opportunities for networking and encouragement. And I think meetings like this are very motivational. And I thought Dunwoody was a great place to host
Yes.
the meeting because they have done so many sustainable things. And it was a nice opportunity for me to meet some of their staff people there.
Actually, Jeremy Hansher, who was from the EAMAP program, mentioned in his feedback that the people that were in the room were so instrumental because all of them could do that collaboration. He actually is meeting with a couple of our businesses because they were interested in some of the programs he can offer. And he was so impressed with our overall township, he's asked to collaborate with us on other objects, and we definitely said, absolutely. And anytime he has new information or whatever, we'll invite him in and partner with for our businesses. Joseph,
Yes.
you did a great job. First of all, you did a great job with the press and handling, just being there but supporting that. Any comments you
You
have?
were gonna move my table too. You told me to move up front.
Yeah, well,
I came
yeah,
back-
there you go.
I came back from the bathroom and I was like, oh, I can't leave this poor girl. I didn't even know who she was at first. Like, I can't leave her by herself, so I
He
stayed
was
at
with
the
the
table.
reporter from the Spirit News.
And I didn't know she was a reporter either.
Yeah,
but
she
was
did a
like-
great job.
Like asking me questions and,
Very
and
positive story. Yep, awesome.
I have to read it. I didn't.
Yep.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah, I thought it was a great event. As Cindy said, the venue was beautiful. And I love the video that Dane shared with
Yeah.
us. That was great.
And we're gonna be sharing that on the township's website as well. So do you guys think for going forward for 2026, this would be something we'd all want to do, continue to do for next year? I just want to make sure that it's
The one area I thought where the conference could have been stronger is just more of the coalition members attending.
yeah.
And I don't know how you can get more people there. I
It's-
know I've heard you say that these are small businesses, they have a hard time getting away. But you put so much effort into the meeting and the
Yeah.
speakers are so good that.
I think what it
They
is
really
coming
should
down
be
to,
there.
like, time-wise, we went through all we consulted with the Business Association of when the best time is, and a Friday morning seems to be the best. We can talk with them as to what their recommendations are because they know their members as well. I think a lot of people are same thing, like they want to get there, you know how it goes.
And you ran a very efficient meeting. It
Yep.
did not run overly long.
We were very
So what were
confident
you
with
gonna
that.
say?
No, I was saying, you did, we talked about this on the day of, and you said that there were more confirmations than
Yep,
actually showed. And it's a shame because back to the venue, it was such a beautiful venue. We
Yep.
had such a lot of room in there
Yeah.
to actually have all these folks, to host all these folks. It was a little bit more of a smaller venue when we did Boron.
right.
And we seemed like there was, maybe just because of the small room, seemed like we had more people.
But even the fact that Dunwoody itself is such a sustainable business, it was so appropriate for them to host
sure.
this
Right,
organization,
right.
this meeting.
Again, it goes back to what we can do is, we did put out a save the date in September so we gave them a lot of time. We put out another save the date in like December, just so we kept it out. In January, then we flooded. So what we'll look at is anything else we can do to get businesses to commit to it. And they also want to come for their own reasons as well, so we have to give them the content that makes them want to come. So we'll continue on that. So we actually have two that are being considered for our 2026. We're interviewing them right now to see, who's going to give those things. I just wanted to make sure that everybody was on board with supporting. I know Dave said he is 100% behind it. He felt the effort is, it's nothing but positive news along. And at the end of the day, how many townships, and that's what Jeremy said, how many townships could even bring people together to talk about this? This grows, this idea encourages people to do more, and that's what all we can do. So bringing attention to issues, that was what we'll do.
So I had a question about what was the cost to the EAC? for
We
it?
have not received an invoice yet.
Okay.
We don't think we're gonna have much of a cost,
Right, right.
but we have to, just in case that is, but I did ask for an invoice and we haven't
Uh-huh.
received that yet. So you know, we're just gonna take it if it's, but I think we're gonna be very much okay on that, but,
good.
you know. All right, next up, new business. Okay, item 8.1, update discussion and possible action for DCC grant. Cindy, you want to discuss these two? The authorized application for $500 to replace native plant plugs for the township's rain and pollinator gardens. Cindy.
Yeah, well, my request is pretty simple and specific. Their rain gardens, for two reasons, need replacement plants. They were affected by a condition known as aster yellows last fall, and we had to remove all of the purple coneflower, which were affected, which are kind of a mainstay of the summer and late summer blooms. And then also this summer, this spring, there was a maintenance issue. So we're going to need more plugs. I have consulted with Greenweaver, the landscape design firm that created the gardens, and explained the situation to them about the Nell garden. And they recommended that we just spread the mulch, wait to see what comes up, you know, put a 3-inch thick layer so it suppresses the weeds, wait till the end of April to see what comes up, and then in early May, do some planting. Now, I'm looking to perhaps purchase plugs inexpensively and at a wholesale prices from local nurseries. I've several sources that I'm looking at, and we would keep the cost under $500. That is what could be obtained through a mini grant from DCCD. We have successfully applied for these mini grants in the past, and they're very simple to apply for. The money comes very quickly, and it would be no cost to the township. All we would need to do is for the EAC to approve it, submitting the grant request, and the Board of Supervisors. I would need Board of Supervisors MORA approval by April 1st, because the application has to be in by April 1st. And
So why don't
then
we say by April, give an earlier date?
March
instead, yeah.
31st. Because I'm not sure what day of the week April 1st is. But
Tuesday.
yeah, so we would need, I can have the application ready to go. It's very short.
Yeah,
Would
I
the
have to
board,
check on like that with Steven and Desiree and everything, because I don't know with how the board in terms of approving things like that, their next meeting's the 24th. So that's Monday, so I'm not sure if that's something that can go on their agenda or not. I'm not as familiar, but I'll have to check with Steven. So if you want to shoot me an email tonight, that way tomorrow morning I can check
Yeah.
with him.
I think too, Steve, usually, you know, it's all we're doing is asking him to do a grant. And sometimes he's gone to them and just said, hey, this is what's going on. It didn't have to be a major presentation,
Yeah.
but we can ask. If we could ask, that'd be great. Because you're gonna need your answer before. And this year we actually did this and we got the grant, so we're grateful for
yeah,
it. So
we've done this several times before, and the board always allows us to apply, and we always get the
and if we
grant.
don't get the grant, then we don't do the thing.
Yeah.
So motion was made by Cindy Mahalo to put forth a grant application for $500 to recoup the cost of additional plant plugs for her rain gardens, well, for the township rain gardens. Motion was made by
Janet
Joanna
Cabanas.
Cabanas, seconded by Joseph Pinto. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Cindy, well
So
done.
I had a
That'd be great.
question, was there any money in our budget for plants?
No, the rain garden fee, I think you had, what did you have down?
I had money for mulch.
Yeah, there wasn't
Okay.
anything, because last year we had replanted the plugs.
Yeah, we didn't think we were gonna need to do
Right,
anything.
Right, but listen, look, this is not money that, you know, with things, and hopefully, if, you know, we have other monies from unused things, you
Yeah.
know, that we could offset that, but of course, we would go through the supervisors to do that. All right, great.
And was there any grant that you had received the money for but had not been spent?
It was for tree signage.
Tree signage, okay. So it can't be
Yeah, we didn't
reassigned.
get that this year. We asked for that, remember? We asked
No,
for that.
no, we applied for
Oh,
a
you had that.
DCC mini grant.
Right,
Last year for tree signage at Gable Park, and that has never been spent.
I know.
I don't know if it carries over
But
in the
we-
township budget.
The EAC also wanted to supplement that, remember, and we
Oh.
just weren't approved in our budget for the tree signs, because we wanted to build on that program, but yes. You could check with Steve on that.
If that money
about
is
what-
available.
If that money's still available.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know about reallocating it for
You're right.
something different.
Right, no, using it for what you intended.
But yeah, that's a whole separate issue.
Yeah, all right, great.
We don't have to get into that.
All right, right, and the next grant was for Authorize EAC to help local businesses with DCC grants.
Yeah,
Tell us a little bit about that.
the idea here, which I don't think I'm gonna go forward with, because I just don't think I have the bandwidth, would be to separately but concurrently apply for another DCCD mini grant, which you can. One organization can submit more than one application. And this would be for stormwater education. And the specific idea was to promote downspout planters, which can be used in more of an urban setting, like one of our small businesses, like in front of a store where there's a sidewalk. Specifically, I've been thinking for years that the parking lot of Gentili's is a very highly trafficked
Yes.
area with a lot of water coming down. And that would be something, a very effective thing, but I just don't know if I have the time to take that on,
Right.
so I'm gonna table that for now.
Right, but if there's grants out there, I think we're supportive of if there's an opportunity for us to help, but like you said, we can't take on all the extra work with
Yeah,
everything
it
else we do.
required approaching Gentili's or some other
Yes.
business owner, getting their support, just a lot of coordination
Yep.
and administration,
All right.
Are these
perfect.
only available one time a year?
twice a year,
Twice a year, so we could think about. that.
April 1st and October 1st.
Okay.
And
plan
usually,
ahead.
they like programs that are successful, that deliver before, so they, because we
Sure.
have a great success with them, we're lucky to even have that opportunity, so
Right.
it's very good. All right, item 8.2. This is just an important part. This is discussion on possible, we don't need to have an action. All we're doing is acknowledging, on Saturday, it's World Water Day. And the reason why, this is United Nations in 1992 set this event up as an annual event to highlight the importance of fresh water and promote sustainable development related to water resources. So all we're doing is acknowledging it. It's really important because it is impacting our community, the way that we use water, especially because our bodies need fresh water and we have to protect and take care of it. We want to just highlight that and make sure it is. So we wanted to include it on our agenda, and we did ask the township to share it out on Saturday since it is World Water Day. We did that last year, just like we acknowledge Earth Day and Arbor Day. It's just Water Day, which is very important.
I learned 2 facts about water at my latest webinar that I sat in on. The first one is that there's only 2.5% of the world's water that is actually fresh water that
Yes.
we can drink.
Yes,
Just 2.5%,
that's scary.
making it a precious resource.
Exactly.
The other one is that 1 tablespoon of salt can impact 5 gallons of water.
Yes.
So the salt that's left out is really affecting
Right.
our stream water.
We did include United Nations PDF. There's 2 documents that will give you some information that you just highlighted. We know that the human body older people are considered to have 60 to 70% of their bodies made of water. Children are up to 75 to 80%. So everything we can do to protect our water. And in our community, while we're talking really about it, is, as you know, stormwater, all of these things
Yes.
contaminate our fresh water. And so we have to do everything we can. We've been talking about salt in our water coming from all these, so it's just raising awareness, and that's the only point of why it's on our agenda. All right, item 8.3, possible discussion of possible actions for our April e-newsletter. Awesome. All right, so great news is we have a couple things already set up. That I'll do something on why we don't want to do volcano mulches. I thought that would really be appropriate time of year, right? Joe is going to do a story on tips for sustainable family vacations, and he's working on that right now, which is awesome. Janet, I thought if you could give us some content on the plant swap event on May 7th.
Okay,
You
all
can give
right.
us a graphic on that, which will be great. And we'll, of course, include the lights out to continue that on. Earth Day will be April 22nd, so we'll include something on that. And Cindy, did you want to, I didn't know if you wanted to do something on invasive or plants? Do you want it, or do you want to take a month off too? Whichever.
Well, if we have volcano mulch, sustainable family vacations, lights out,
Plant
Okay.
swap. If the
Plant
plant
swap.
swap, yeah.
um, plant swap, maybe when Janet writes the article about the event, she can pair that with why that these are all native plants and, you know, why people should purchase native plants this year, because I think April is when people do a lot of plant shopping.
Right.
Coming
Yes.
up to Mother's Day.
Yes.
So I think that would be very timely to encourage people that when you're planting your
Sure.
garden and even your pots and containers,
Everything.
use native
So
plants.
Jen,
And
And grasses.
and then one place they can buy them is at the plant swap.
Yes, I
Right,
didn't know if
yeah.
you wanted a flyer and an article or just a flyer. It's up to you. What do you?
I
what
will
can you-
ask, Kathy Cavalier,
Yes.
because she's part of
Okay,
this.
yes.
And the Historical Society is going to buy the plant plugs for us this
Awesome.
year. It's really good.
Awesome, awesome. Good stuff. And that'd be, and what we also look to do is, I think it's timely, maybe if we can, depending upon how much information. The only other thing would be timely would be, I've seen a lot of people starting the signs for the mosquito sprays. Just,
I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
I guess it's not too early because.
it's not too early because this will go
Okay,
out,
yeah,
in
I'll-
April. So I think that might be a really good
I
idea.
could do something about mosquito
Yeah.
spray.
Just brief, whatever content. And you guys, if we can have the graphic, the content and everything together, it just really makes, because when we have to submit it, I send it off tomorrow and we do it
We always
individual.
do that,
I
don't
know.
we? I
Oh,
always send a
everything-
photo with the article.
Yeah, we
and-
try to have everything individualized because that's how they track it. And I don't blame them when Dandelion Digital receives it, we kind of like item number one, everything together. Item number two, everything
Has there
together.
been a problem with the way?
No,
people
I
are
think-
submitting?
I think they just It's-
Okay, okay.
quick as possible together. All right. Now, agenda items. We're not finished with all the other stuff. What agenda items? We'll add them at the end of the meeting just so we can go through the rest of the stuff, okay? But that was just our newsletter. Old business. Okay, guys, so we're gonna get really busy coming in the next weeks. We have everyone that's signed up for our CRC's Drexel Lodge cleanup on Saturday, March 29th. In addition to the cleanup, Newtown Square and Bloom is asking, and they will have some volunteers there. And Cindy, if I know you can't do it physically with your hand, you're still healing, they will have volunteers there, and any extra volunteers that we have on the site with the stream cleanup, we'll look to do the pollinator garden there that day. So if you are around and if you can give any guidance, I really don't
Yeah.
want anyone coming in there and pulling things up.
Yeah,
So-
I will.
Yeah, so that will be, and that'll be on Saturday, March 29th. I will be there and anyone else will be.
I'll be out of town.
No
in
worries. Okay.
Florida.
Saturday, April 5th is DCCD stream cleanup at Greer and Brookside Parks. I'm down for that. Wade's doing a great job coordinating that, same thing. And whatever when we're done cleaning up the stream in the park area, we actually go up to the street by the Pico and clean up all the trash and everything. So that's a big day. Item number 3 is the Arbor Day event. We mentioned that we're waiting for a communication from Shade Tree on that, so hopefully they'll give us information, and if we can assist them, we will, and if not, we try. On Friday, May 9th, EAC in the Bird Town will be at the Newtown Square Food and Makers Market, St. Albans, and we did community outreach that day from 3:30 to 7. Janet, you and I are scheduled for that, and anyone
Yes.
else is welcome to join us for that day. Saturday morning at really bright and early will be the bird walk at Garrett's and Williams. Thank you, Janet, for coordinating that. And on Saturday, May 17th is the plant swap and giveaway.
Which will be at the Paper Mill House,
Oh,
not at the
okay.
John West Tavern.
Paper mill. Okay, great. Well, that's what, we'll have that noted. And flyer will be pending, flyer will be included next month.
Right.
All right. Now Sunday, May 18th, the EAC table will actually have an outreach table at this event. We will probably get there maybe 3 o'clock to set up our tent and do all that.
Okay.
And we have a little bit of time to figure that out. but Newtown Square and Bloom, Newtown Square Business Association, right now they're doing a great job trying to get vendors for that. It's gonna be an incredible event and we're really supportive of everything we can do. I think that will be helpful. So before we get into, we don't need any problem. I did want to kind of discuss with you guys anything. I have a couple of things about our next meeting. Our next meeting will be on
Yeah,
Thursday.
I was gonna make a comment about. Hello, we're here.
Yeah.
About the structure of the agenda,
Right.
and Maura, I don't know if there's a protocol that forbids this, but frequently traditionally at the end of the meeting, Sheila, you ask for agenda items.
Yes.
For the next agenda, and I didn't see that on here. So.
Yeah.
What, it's never on there?
I have it on my notes and
Okay.
I like the, on the minutes, I actually pop
Yeah.
it in sometimes and just put none.
Yeah.
But it always has been on my structure, but for some reason it doesn't make its way to
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
agenda sometimes.
We'll just
But
add that.
sometimes
Is
it's
that
not.
something
If you
we-
just send agenda and there's nothing for me to put on there, then I would just assume that there's nothing to go on it.
Okay.
So, but if you want it back on there, just let me know.
Okay, all right, we'll do that. All right, so our next meeting is going to be on Thursday, April 17th at 5:30. Therefore, all EAC agenda items and e-newsletter items are going to be due to me by Sunday, April 6th at 8 a.m. because I have to package it all together and give it off tomorrow. So that's our deadline, and then we get it out. That'll be then published that week and going out. So
I'm sorry, you say these things
Sunday,
so fast.
Sunday, April 6th at 8 a.m. will be
April 6th.
the agenda items and the e-newsletter items for April. All right, before we break out to end things, one thing we are still waiting for is, I thought Steve was going to be here tonight because the EAC has to go before the Board of Supervisors to deliver our annual report. And I know Joe is away the 14th.
No, I have.
Your book, you're
Yeah.
aboard, and so is Dave. So then the other option is April 28th. Dave was, I think, good for that date, but were you good for that date?
I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I could just, I'm afraid if we kind of let it go much longer, they're gonna think we're gonna be into 2025, but we have our annual report. It's been done since last month, but I will then email Steve, I'll actually email Suzanne or Desiree to get on the calendar to make sure that we're on that, because Steve mentioned he would get us on the calendar, so
And for what date was it, for which
we'll
meeting?
probably do the Monday, the April 28th. Because I wanted either Dave or Joe to be with me for it. I'm available earlier, but Joe is gone the 14th, and so is Dave.
Okay.
Joe was gonna deliver the report because he's helping communicate that. The other thing too is while we were there, wanted to get we have to go, the EAC already decided they wanted to move forward the unplugged day, but we need the Board of Supervisors to give us permission, so we can't even do any planning until we have their permission to do so. So that's what we're waiting for on that. And I know some great things happened this weekend. Cindy, you were at the DCBA report, and you want to give us
Yeah,
a quick
sure,
thing? We can
yeah.
add this to the agenda for April, if there are any actions that were coming for it, but you did go to the event. Anything we need to
Yeah.
know about?
No, there's no actions. I did attend the DCVA annual meeting as planned. On Saturday, we discussed that at last month's meeting, that I would be there as a representative of the EAC. It was very good to be there. It was the 40th anniversary of that organization. Well, last year was their 40th anniversary, so this was like the annual meeting culminating the end of the 40th year. And there were very informative speakers. Lauren McGrath from Willistown Conservation Trust. She's the director of their watershed protection program. We've worked with her on different initiatives, and she has actually appeared before the EAC and spoken to us about their stream monitoring program. She spoke about the stream monitoring program again, and she and a DCVA board member informed me that they would like to add a couple monitoring locations within Newtown Square.
Oh, great.
There are already a couple that requires no involvement or cost or anything to the EAC, but it is valuable information and they coordinate everything. But I think it will be a real benefit to the township to have another stream being monitored.
All right, right. And
Yeah.
there's no action needed on our part, Mara, because this is under Laura McGrath, their program, so
Right.
Yeah.
it's really more so us being aware of it, because Deirdre Gordon and a couple of other individuals who do that right now do a great job, and it's
Yeah.
really valuable information. Right.
One thing she did mention, and that is salt. She shared a lot of data. She shared the website where they keep all the data that now they have years worth of data from many monitoring sites throughout the Darby Creek watershed. And it's just becoming more and more obvious how incredibly damaging salt is, to the point where she said it used to be that you would see a spike in the salt levels when there was a rainstorm in the winter after salt had been spread. Now, so much salt has been spread and gotten into the soil that after every rainstorm, all through the summer, there are places where the salt in the
Spikes up.
stream goes up because there's salt that's accumulated in the soil. Not everywhere, but she said there are some communities in New England that there's so much salt in the soil, in the water, that people with high blood pressure cannot drink the public water because there's so much salt in it
Yeah.
from road salt. So we don't want to get there in Newtown Square.
All right, so for
Um,
April, what we can do is, you mentioned that you're gonna be talking, should we add that as an action
Yeah,
item?
we said at last month's
Yep.
meeting that I would follow up on salt education.
Okay,
And yes, and I did reach out to Lower Merion Conservancy about
Conservative,
that. The other speaker was, I'll be shorter on these other, Joseph Barber from the US EPA. He gave a really technical, in-depth, mind-blowing presentation about the Superfund site cleanup in Lower Darby Creek. And the lengths and the cost and the years that our government goes through to clean up messes that are made by unregulated or illicit businesses or illicit dumping. It just makes me so grateful that we have the EPA, we have regulations, there is oversight, because so many businesses in the past in this area have behaved irresponsibly and left a toxic mess that now the taxpayers are stuck cleaning up.
Yeah.
Because these businesses were not responsible for the mess they made. That was my takeaway from that. There was a woman there from a wonderful place. The Audubon Mid-Atlantic chapter runs a discovery center, which is down in Philadelphia in the Strawberry Mansion area. That is a wonderful resource for people to visit, for families to go to. They have a ropes course, they have kayaking, they have birding. It is the second most next to the John Hines Wildlife Refuge, the number of birds that have been found, this is second only in the city to John Hines.
Oh, wow.
Such a magnet for birds.
Who was the speaker?
A woman called Bria Wimberly. So those were some of the highlights. It was great meeting people
all right.
and networking.
All right, so then any other items for April agenda? What about we were talking about the monitoring the riparian buffers down along Rear Park and.
Yeah. Yeah,
Brookside.
I think we should talk about that and clarify roles and responsibilities of maintaining the plantings there and the bird boxes. I mean,
Yes.
we can't set it and forget it. I noticed 2 bird boxes there that I don't know who installed or who's maintaining. And there is some weeding that needs to be done there.
Okay,
And I would be willing, we can talk about how we could recruit community groups
Right.
to help provide.
well, maybe if something happening with Bird Day too, Arbor Day, if that comes to action, and
I
maybe.
don't know if
I
I
know.
could do it that soon.
I know. Well, we'll see. We'll add that to the agenda. We'll add those items. Any other items? Joseph, do you have anything you'd like to have added? All right.
I would
everyone?
like to just put a pin in two other topics.
Mhm.
And that is, if we could discuss and identify a process for educating and alerting individual landowners when we observe unsustainable practices.
All
Like
right.
just calling this to their attention and sharing information.
So we're acknowledging that we are limited what we're doing. We're just more advocating for educational opportunities.
Yeah.
Okay.
This would be a method of education. And the second topic would be, I was updating the landscape plan section of our code, chapter 104, article 5. It's still, this is a list of approved shrubs and plants for landscape use. There are many, many invasive plants that are on our list at a township level of what we approve, and yet at the state level, these are identified as invasive plants that should not be planted.
But that
So-
ordinance is like 25 years old. right?
Yes, it was passed in 1992, so it
Okay.
needs to be updated.
Right, okay. What we can do is, if you can send those to me kind of in a bullet
Yep.
point thing, we can do that. We can only discuss what's in our purview, obviously, but we'll make opportunities aware of other, whether other EAC.
Yeah, we can
change
share
things,
information and
it's
make
everyone else. Perfect.
recommendations.
Awesome. All right. And that's it for everybody, right? So I think we've given everyone our dates. We're ready to roll. We've got so much going on. But I think really, when you look at everything that everyone at this table and Dave has done, you guys do a lot of work. It's really important. And Mara, we appreciate your support of all of our efforts.
You're welcome.
Aren't you lucky to
Pleasure.
see, that you get to see all the work that you do kind of pays off? So
Thank
I
you.
think we are adjourned. Thank you so much.